Hello and welcome to all. Let us visit the old and the new tax regimes in this video and try to answer the question which regime is better for the salaried individuals. Before we answer that question, let us have a look at the history of new tax regime. New tax regime was introduced as simplified tax regime in the year 2020. Tax slabs were altered and taxpayers were offered concessional tax rates. However, whoever opted for the new tax regime cannot claim the several deductions or exemptions like HRA, LTA, Section 80C, 80D, etc. In the subsequent years, there were not many takers for the new tax regime, and maybe because of that, in the 2023 budget as well as 2024 budget, government has introduced various incentives to make the new tax regime more attractive. Standard deduction increased further, and tax slabs were even tweaked even more so that it become really sweetened for the new tax regime. As per the statistics of the assessment year 2024-25, over 72% of the people opted for new tax regime. And one more thing you need to note down is that from the assessment year 2024-25, new regime is the default option when you do the tax filing. Let us have a look at the tax slabs post the 2024 budget. The standard deduction is 75,000 in the new regime, whereas it is 50,000 with the old regime. The rebate under the new regime is 7 lakhs and old regime it is 5 lakhs. And these are the tax rates under the new regime and under the old regime here. And you could see that the concessional rates in the new regime fares better on the look of it. Now, let us try to answer the question which we started with. Which regime is better for the salaried individual? Here we are taking the assumption that the individual person is having a deduction mainly from the Section 80C. He has the Employee Provident Fund and has invested in the tax saving instruments up to an amount of rupees 1.5 lakhs. This is one of the common scenarios which we see as of today. Here in this table, you could see the taxes, income tax under the old tax regime in column 2 and the income tax under new regime under column 3, and here in the fourth column you could see the differences. And depending on the income, I calculate the difference in the income tax with the old regime minus the new regime here, and also the calculated regime which is better for the individual person. Okay, so up to 7 lakhs, because of the deductions, you could see that the income tax is 0, and old and new regime fares equally well. But as the income increases, you could see that there is considerable amount of income tax you need to pay under the old regime compared to new regime, and the new tax regime fares better in these cases. So what is the conclusion? Compliance wise, new tax regime always fared better, even from starting from 2020 onwards. And with the even though the choice is between the old and new tax regime is personal, when it comes to the uh, income tax you have to pay, if you have deductions up to rupees 1.5 lakhs, new tax regime fares better. Now, what if the deductions are much higher than that? Or what should be the deduction amount for me to go for an old regime? Does the changes in the indexation benefit of the real estate investments make the old regime better? For these answers, watch out for this space in my next videos. Thank you for watching and see you again.